Good morning, everyone. Welcome to today's Board of Public Works and Safety. Today is Monday, April the 7th. We're streaming live on the City of Madison YouTube channel, as well as archiving today's meeting there. We have a full agenda, so let's begin with the roll call, please. Clerk.
Sure. Carl Eaglin.
Here.
Bob Courtney.
Here.
Dave Carlo.
Here.
Thank you. Board, if you had an opportunity to review the minutes from the March 17th meeting, if so, please accept a motion for approval.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes as printed.
I'll second the motion.
Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Moving on to claims.
Mayor, I had an opportunity to review the claims. Two sets of claims, one for general and one for payroll. And seeing everything appears to be in order, I'll make a motion that the claims be approved as submitted.
I'll second David's motion.
Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thanks. We do have an adjustment here. Brian?
I've got Flora Taylor here from 2933 Kentucky to go over her leak adjustment.
Good morning, Flora. Thanks for being here. So we have a recommended water adjustment, I'm sorry, not a water adjustment, but sewer adjustment in the amount of $2,856.07 for Flora Taylor, 2933 Kentucky Avenue. Just describe to us what happened, and has a repair been made?
Yes, it has been. I got a phone call on Friday from the water company before the storm on Saturday that was coming, and she said I had a leak, and could she have somebody come over immediately and turn that off? And I said, yeah, because it was going to get a storm. So we had to wait like 3-4 weeks before we could even get anybody out there for the snow, and the ice and all that. And they found it. It was like 10 to 15 feet from the water meter. And it was a little black pipe, and it had so it's like several feet down. I have a picture of it that they had to go down. It took them a couple days to get it, but it's fixed, so.
Good. I'm glad to hear it's fixed. And
So they notified you on January 23rd? Is that correct?
Is that the Friday before that storm? Yeah, I had a stroke in March, so it's kind of,
There's a date down here with the initial, so,
Yes.
okay.
well, I'm glad that our water company was able to detect this and
Yes.
inform you so you could get that fixed.
Yes, me too.
Brian, anything else to add with regards to, it sounds like you're satisfied with the request?
We're good.
I'll make the motion, and then we approve the request for the adjustment for Flora Taylor.
I'll second the motion.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thanks. Thank you, Brian, and you're still up. Thank you. Flora, good luck with that. Hopefully you don't have a
Thank
problem with it again.
Thank you.
Brian, we'll be talking with you for the next 4 things.
Yeah, well, 3. I'm going to table the 4th one I told you about this morning. So then I basically just have 3 SRF water project requests for payment. The first one is SRF request number 3, SRF INT, an invoice from Commonwealth Engineers dated February 28th, 25, in the total amount of $171.50. The SRF disbursement number 3, SRF INT, will be for $172. The next request is from O'Mara Contracting, and it's SRF request number 4, SRF INT, request number 22 from O'Mara for the final retainage release on their project. The total retainage release amount in pay app 22 is $45,920. So the SRF disbursement request will be $45,920, and this will finish out their division, and they have no retainage left in that division. They will be complete. Number 3 is from M.W. Cole Construction, Division B, with the water and towers. It's for SRF request 5, SRF INT, their request number 13, dated March 14th, 2025. The total amount of their invoice was $89,450. Of that, the retainage amount was $4,473. So the pay app SRF disbursement request will be for $84,798. And that's all I have on the SRF.
Okay, and we're tabling Division B within.
Yeah, they were going to drain the hillside tank, and we didn't really want to do that with the flood going on
Yeah.
in the rain.
What's a little more water?
Yeah, yeah.
Is that a 1 million gallon tank?
It's 750,000.
750,000 gallons.
And it was storming. They couldn't work anyway.
Yeah, I
So,
understand.
but
Board,
yeah.
any comments or questions? I'll move that we approve the SRF payments 3, 4, 5, I'm sorry, 3 and 4 and 5 as Brian presented.
I'll second the mayor's motion.
Any discussion? Comments or questions? Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you, Brian.
Thanks.
All right, we have a report from Chris Hale, our Director of Street Solid Waste and Facilities. Are you tired?
Yeah, we're
You had a pretty busy last 5 days, so thank you for all the work you and your team have put in. Chris?
thank you. We appreciate that. We're
Yeah.
doing our best to keep the city safe and be out there where we can. Hanover Hill, obviously, yesterday was a long day, but we were happy to get it back open for the public, especially all that happened there with the force main break. Water and sewer and everybody worked with us great. So originally,
They
go
took
ahead.
out both water and sewage.
Well, it ended up being sewer. At first, we didn't know, or a force main, right? But it was mostly water at that point because it's pumping water. So.
Yeah.
Originally, I think when we had scheduled this, the intent was to talk about the semi-annual inspection for the TSO.
Yep.
So we can cover that real quick and then get to any questions you have about the flood disaster planning and coverage. We did have our semi-annual inspection at the TSO, so twice yearly. There were no major findings. There was an opportunity for improvement, basically for some documentation for some of the backup workers, so that's something that we've already worked to take care of. We always get good compliments from Chad, our IDEM inspector. He told me this time that he'd be glad to bring anybody from Indianapolis or from the main office down to see our facility and show it off as one of his nicer facilities that he inspects.
Great.
So that's always great to hear as far as cleanliness, and what we're doing to contain the mess. So overall, I don't know if you guys have any questions about that, but we've not had any major issues the last 2 inspections. So.
And this includes our compost yard as well, or is there a separate inspection for that?
So the compost yard is just a once-a-year inspection. We had that at the end of the year previously also, so there were no issues with the compost inspection.
I don't know if any board member regularly frequents the transfer station just to go hang out, but I do. And it's amazing the improvements of it that have been made there, both with regards to the processing of transactions through the scales, but the management of the compost yard, which was an absolute mess before, has really been gotten under control. And Chris and his team are the ones responsible for that, and it's much more organized and a lot less compost sitting up there, so thank you for that. That was one of our plans with regard to improving the transfer station operations.
Okay. And we are going to continue to work on improving the compost yard, and I know I've talked that we've got some things coming up we're working on that'll help continue that into the future. So we'll keep working on that, and we'll come to the board when we have something.
While we're talking, Chris, about transfer station, you want to just give the board an update on the kind of the final leg of our modernization plans with regard to the plant improvements. That'll be the next big investment that we're about to make.
Yeah, so we've finalized with JTL, the engineering group, the plans for remodeling and construction and improvements to the TSO. It includes everything from structural improvements to fencing, concrete, paving, that kind of thing. So I believe they're getting ready to do the advertisement for the bid letting. We expect in the next 4 to 6 weeks to start seeing movement there, getting people in for bids and start making progress on that project. But it's going to definitely enhance the usability and the look of the TSO.
Fantastic. Questions for Chris relative to the inspection report or anything transfer station related?
Just glad to get another good project Almost finished, now the way.
It's going to be a few months away, but we're
Yeah.
closing in on it.
Closing down.
Yeah, and it'll make a big difference for the TSO, I think, especially for people who, like Bob, who aren't there all the time, right? When you show up and see that difference.
You'll see a difference.
It'll be stark, yeah.
And we're already experiencing efficiency goals and the work that we're going to do to the facility itself relative to the, roofing over the recycling area is going to not only be a benefit for weather-related things, but it's also going to save us money.
Yeah, cut down on water
that way.
weight, different areas.
Congratulations on your inspection report,
Thank you.
and pass that on to your crew.
I will. They do
And-
the hard part of that, right? So,
And it's good to hear that the state people consider it a first-class operation to kind of show off. So,
yeah, I haven't seen a ton of other facilities. I'm hoping to get out at some point and see them, but to hear that comparatively that we're one that he'd be proud to show off, it
Yeah.
makes you feel good, right?
Yeah, it does.
Well, I'd like to put it even in more, a little bit more perspective, and that is, we have the collection part of the transfer station operation and the processing. And there are, in any given year, like 2024, we processed a little over 11,000 tons of material between solid waste recycling and compostable type things. Over 11,000 tons. That's a lot of weight.
That's a ton.
And how many people are involved in the processing of those 11,000 tons?
Yeah, so we have basically 11 people total that are involved in the pickup and processing. You have two guys that run the TSO, right? You have the guy that runs the shack and the guy that helps push in and keep the facility moving. And you got 9 guys, 3 drivers plus swingers that pick up, basically 5,000 trash pickups a week. And even
Trash
in
and recycling.
trash and recycling, right? And in a week like this, also, they're doing double duty. We had some of them out helping just with disaster relief, covering, different areas, and then they were right back at it this morning picking up trash. So, other than the one day during the snowstorm that was the worst that we've had in quite a while, they've been out, doing that, covering the trash, making sure it's not building up in the city. And when you think about 11 guys processing that much material, to me, that's really impressive.
It's a full day.
Yeah.
It's a full day.
Well, you think about it, it's 1,000 tons per person per year. I mean, it's a lot.
Yes.
And until we did the modernization, it was manually lifted into the compactor truck. So we're working on,
And
the
we have
safety
seen
aspects of that.
Safety improvements, we haven't had any needle sticks since
Yeah.
then. We haven't had any other issues as far as handling bags, that kind of thing. So we are seeing the safety improvements
Yeah,
that we
more
were
progress
looking
to come still.
Great job, Chris.
Anything else, Chris?
No, I think everybody's been staying pretty aware of what we have flooding-wise, disaster-wise. If you guys have any questions, I'm happy to answer them. But we're staying out, staying prepared, and we're ready for when the water goes back down also to begin cleaning up Bond Drive and the riverfront.
Call me when Chillbillies opens up and need a good milkshake.
Need a milkshake, yeah. Well, and we know that everybody will be itching once the weather warms up here to get down on the riverfront. So obviously we'll get it up cleaned up as quick as we can.
That's why Carl walks 10 miles a day to be able to fuel
Be able
his
to have one of
Chillbillies
those
habit.
milkshakes.
Exactly right.
The line failure on Hanover Hill, was that just a failure, or was that weather, storm related?
Yeah, I
Or-
believe it was hillside erosion that moved that pipe. It was a PVC pipe. I don't, a little bit chicken and egg, right? It's hard to know for sure, but I'm going to assume that the hillside moved that pipe slightly, cracked it, and then caused the rest of the erosion.
Is that something we can claim as like a disaster?
We are saving all of that. Yeah, we're documenting all of the people and the dollars used, and that'll go towards our FEMA total, right? So yeah, that'll be a part of it.
Great.
So.
Good job.
All right, thank you guys.
Keep up the good work, Chris. Thank you. And Dewey, co-enforcement. Update on annual report.
Good morning, Board. I too, like Chris, have good news from the IDEM viewpoint. Actually, my report today is about stormwater.
Quick question for you. Do we have your report in here?
No.
No, you maybe don't.
Okay, all right.
I've got a copy
It's okay.
here.
Go for it.
Or no,
Yeah.
you don't. So as your MS4 coordinator, each year I'm required to submit our annual report to IDEM, and Monday of last week I did that. And Friday morning I received confirmation they had received it and reviewed it, and no deficiencies were found. So we are in compliance as far as for last year, and hopefully that will continue going forward this year. And next year will be the final year of the permit, and then we'll be working on the new one. So, yeah, that's basically it. No big news, but Bob
Well-
signed this, the mayor signed this last Friday.
Give a little overview as to the work we're doing in MS4 and why, getting a good annual report like that is very important to us.
Yeah, I mean, as a office of one, much like code enforcement, there's a lot that goes into this. So there are 6 what we call minimum control measures in the MS4 world that deal with public outreach, community involvement, participation, those types of things. One of the really important ones is illicit discharges, which concern, so MS4 concerns with the quality of water, not the quantity of water like we're dealing with now. MS4 is concerned with the quality of water, what's getting into the water. Grass clippings, oil, gas, carcasses from animals, all kinds of different things, right? We want to, we can't eliminate that, but we want to control that. So that's a big undertaking. And that comes with investigating cases, complaints, all those types of things. And then, of course, the construction and post-construction stuff. So the site that we have up on the hilltop now with a bunch of mud and silt and whatnot, it's important that we control that runoff getting into the streams and whatnot. And we do have folks that assist me with that, doing the inspections, but I expect at some point that I'll be taking over that as well. So, and then there's also dealing in-house. We call it good housekeeping, educating you folks, other employees on the best practices to minimize or to enhance the quality of water that we have. So,
And you go all the way back, you talking about, the erosion and construction areas and all that. The retention pond that was put into service to take care of 87 acres of drainage has to help with that.
yes,
Otherwise, that would be washing all the mud and debris and everything it did before down Crooked Creek. Somebody's gonna have to deal with all that. So
this is true, yes.
that has some benefits with that. And, Crooked Creek, I mean, it got out a little bit this week, but as far as being controlled, it was controlled. I mean, it stayed within the banks, Crooked Creek.
It did. I noticed the west end of town maybe has more issues than the east side here.
Up around the bridges, I think it got over the road a little bit at the Conservation Club, a little bit.
Okay.
The parking lot maybe, not maybe the road, but the parking
Okay.
lot.
Yeah.
But
So-
other than that, I didn't see it out of it, so all this goes hand in hand with what you're doing there.
We're trying. We're trying.
Pretty good test over the weekend.
What's
That
that?
was a pretty good test.
Yes, it was.
Things are working.
Yeah.
It's one reason why around construction sites, you see the black. I don't know
Silt
what-
fence, we call it.
Oh, yeah, the
silk
fence.
like a fencing type to keep the runoff.
Yes.
Some's orange,
So-
and some's black.
Yep. There are other things there that control that, but yes, that's a very big part of it. So. All right, that's all I have.
Good job.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good job.
Yes, Charlie has a question.
Sure.
Has there ever been a new hydraulic report made on that whole hillside and everything? The last one, they made that for the 421 when they built it, but I've never seen any kind of hydraulic report that water's putting out now.
Not hydraulic. I know what you're getting at.
Yeah,
I
it's a water runoff report, whatever.
don't know the answer to that, to be honest with you. Minnie,
I can answer a little bit of that. That's after the last flood, the mayor worked with Corps of Engineers to study that. They did all the
Was there a report ever issued?
It has been issued. I'm not sure if it's the final, but we have received preliminary. It took a very long time.
I'm sure it did, because all those culverts were put in for a different size, a different amount of water that runs under 421. And now you're getting all kinds of, it's just not trying to control Clifton Creek, it's trying to control all the water on the hill that's coming down to us now.
Water,
It'd be nice if that was published sometime.
I think we've got, didn't we receive about a 600-page report from the Army Corps, was it?
Yes, it's part of the whole
And
flood
that's part of the
mitigation
whole
plan.
process. I mean, it's ongoing,
Oh, I'm sure it is.
yeah. And the report probably that you're referring to was, that would be 50 years old now, so it would be,
421 was built.
right, so it would be completely out of date with all the improvements and construction on the hilltop, all the drainage and water flows, and so,
I'm sure there's a lot of culverts that are undersized.
right. And those culverts were overflowing and coming out Friday afternoon during the downpour, and so, yeah, we've got a lot of work to do out there, so.
I just wondered if there'd ever been a report.
I'm gonna ask you to step to the mic because we can't hear on the YouTube. Do you know what you're asking?
Oh.
Charlie.
Might be relevant.
Oh, that's my last question.
Okay.
Till later.
We do need to have anyone that's speaking to step up to the mic.
Thank you, Dewey.
you're welcome.
Thanks, Dave.
You're welcome.
I usually speak into that.
You update.
Next item is Councilwoman Krebs.
Sorry about that. My apologies.
Fireworks is next. Fireworks.
My apologies. I had to step out. That was Congresswoman Houchin, following up from yesterday's visit to Madison relative to our flood.
Fireworks is next.
Okay, so thank you for the pause there. Brett Rick, are we staying on the agenda? Senior Center and Events Coordinator Brett Ricketts, relative to the contract for Zambelli. My apologies again for stepping away. I had to take that call.
Good
morning.
morning. So we have a contract for Zambelli Fireworks. It's the same company, similar show, and the same cost as last year, so. Have any questions?
You want to just outline that real quick so that you're on candid camera, by the way, with all your fans across Madison and, the world. So just reiterate what the terms of the contract are, Brett?
So they will have the fireworks on Saturday, July 5th. If they have to get postponed, we will have it on July 6th. Do you want the cost and everything
Yep.
too? So the cost of the show is $30,000 and 50% is due as a deposit. I'm working on getting it sponsored right now. I already have the title sponsor. Arvin Sango is going to be the title sponsor again. And I think that's about
Well, I know in
it.
the past, we've had a very generous community, and they, through your all's efforts, fundraise virtually all of the park-related events that are out there. The fireworks show brings a lot of people into town, part of the awesome, Hometown USA Parade and the Regatta Festival. So the contract is for $30,000, and the event's going to be on July the 5th.
Correct.
I'm making a motion, we approve the contract for the fireworks.
I'll second Carl's motion.
Any discussion? Comments or questions? Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Brett, thank you very much.
Yep.
Maybe we can get some
Good
of
luck with
the
that.
Thunder over Louisville, since they had to cancel theirs.
Oh, my gosh. Yeah.
Nice donation.
All right, moving on. Next item, Councilwoman Krebs, presentation petition to remove speed bump on East First Street.
That should be bumps plural. It's a typo.
Speed bumps, okay.
So
Good morning.
Good morning. A couple weeks ago, I was just walking in downtown Madison, and a resident of East First approached me about the speed bumps. And I just told her that it needed to be not just her, like I can't just make a recommendation on one person's opinion. So this person decided to go door to door and ask people. And so before you is the petition that this person brought to me. I have notified Councilman Tevenall of my intentions and what I was doing, so he's aware. He's working and cannot be here. So anyway, I don't have a dog in the fight. I'm just being a representative of the people, which is what I'm elected to do. Yes, I am not District 1, but I am District 2, and if someone in the community comes to me with a concern, I feel it is my duty to bring it to their attention. So do with it what you may. I'm not asking for any decision to be made. I am simply presenting it to you as it was presented to me.
Carla, let me just ask a couple questions here. So these are the speed bumps that are on East First Street between Harrison and St. Michael's?
Yes, sir.
All right. And so thank you for that. Anybody here would like to comment on this? But what's your name and address, sir?
My name is Charles Bursch. I live at 204 St. Michael's Avenue. My property adjoins First Street,
I'm sorry, slow down a little bit. How do you spell your name?
Bersch.
Okay. And your address again?
204 St. Michael's Avenue. I have the corner lot on the corner of First Street and St. Michael's Avenue.
Okay.
The alley adjoins my back of my property. The speed bump is right before the alley. I have a drive that's not a hidden drive I have to back out of. I've worked with Pat Tevenall and former police officers to get these speed bumps put in. I have no objection to the other one because the gentleman has a hover round and he says it about knocks his hover round off his car. But I heard her mention that there's people that said they've hurt their car.
Let me ask you a question,
Well,
Charlie.
let's go ahead and have him finish.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, go ahead, sir.
Go ahead.
Yeah. Sir.
I heard her say people have hurt their car. Has there been any tort claims filed? Can you answer that?
Hey, sir. Sir.
Address
Sir.
us.
Yeah, please address us.
Has there been any
Yeah.
tort claims filed for them speed bumps?
Well, if you're asking, has the city been sued because of a speed bump? I'm not aware of any. I can't answer whether or not there's been any damage to vehicles.
I can't either.
Yeah.
But, people are claiming that they're damaging their cars and they're going over the speed bump too fast. That's logical. Mr. Eaglin mentioned to me that we might get by with a lower, wider speed bump. I have no problem with that. But I have to back out of my drive. The stop sign's up there. As soon as they release that stop sign, they're gone. If that speed wasn't there, they'd be running into me while I'm backing out my drive. And Mr. Tevenall came up there, surveyed it, and highly recommended that the speed bump be put back in. They were taken off when the pavement, they were repaved. Kenny Washer come up there and took them off. And he told me that they weren't going to be replaced, so I immediately got a hold of Pat. He come up, he looked at them, and he said, these need to be replaced.
Mr.
Now,
Bursch,
I got another question.
when were they put in place?
When were they put in place? After that road was repaved the last time. That was probably after the bridge was done.
So you're saying they were put in after the bridge work was completed, or were they
Well, they
put
were
in?
taken out in the interim of when they paved First Street.
Were they installed because that was a designated detour because of bridge work? I'm just trying to understand when it was put in place.
I have no idea if they were put in there because it was a detour.
How long do you estimate that those speed bumps have been
The
on
one there
First
by
Street?
my house has probably been there 15 years.
Okay.
There's pedestrians walk up that street, they walk up past the Marriott, Mr. Mayor, and they turn right up and walk right up the middle of that street. If there's not something to slow them down, there's going to be pedestrians hit on that road. This is just not for my safety, this is for other safety. If I'd have known that this was going to be put before you this morning, I would have had a whole lot more residents from my area here. because I've spoke to him once I heard about the petition, but I didn't know when it was going to be presented. But there's as much opposition to be removing them as there is, I would say more than there is removing them.
Yeah, so we want to hear everybody's opinion. And that's
Yes.
why I think Councilwoman Krebs had mentioned today that, she wasn't asking for a decision today, and we're just wanting to hear everybody's opinion on it.
My opinion, she's using her position unwisely. I didn't vote for her to represent my district, and I don't want her representing my district. I think I've made that clear to her before.
Yeah, and let me ask you this. Do you think the speed bump is there as a precaution because of your driveway?
I think it's a precaution to slow people down so I can get out of my driveway or people get out of the alley. There's no signatures. I have no copy of it, but I bet I've asked people that use that alley if they were approached about signing that petition. They said no. There's all kinds of people that turn into that alley, park their cars on the alley between First Street and Second, and they use that alley a lot, coming in and out. And they appreciate traffic has to slow down. I live there. I know what the traffic's like, and I see it. I see them blast over that speed bump. People that they think they can go over it and not hurt their car, they do. But it does slow them down.
Any questions for Mr. Burch? I appreciate you being here today, and we are doing fact-finding today.
I have no opposition to the one being reserved. I told Carl. For the gentleman up there that's in a hover-round,
What's his name?
Steve's all I know. He puts up all the flags on First Street.
He's retired?
He's a veteran, yes. Nice gentleman. I went up and talked to him because I heard the petition was going around.
But
He said I signed it because,
So Steve Minor, would that be his name?
might be.
M-I-N-E-R.
Can I have a copy of
Oh,
the
yeah,
petition?
that's what you have
Okay,
right here.
so he doesn't
Yes,
have
sir.
a problem
Yes, sir.
with the one up on top? Because there are two stop signs.
Between that one, yes.
That protects that area a little bit. So the one on the top, he's okay with getting rid of it.
That's fine.
Okay, now, down where you live, you have the alley, which is traffic, there's people that live back in there, and I know a lot of kids use it. Of course, they're heading to the river, it's a good quick way.
A lot of golf carts come up through there and cut through that alley.
And if we could, that bump is a real sharp,
It's a speed bump.
and they have what you call, I think it's called a pillow type bump, that you need to slow down. If you don't, you can bottom out.
I have no problem with that, just as long as there's something to slow them down.
Hard bump,
Because right now what you're getting is a kiss and a promise at that stop sign.
right,
You know,
and it's
'Cause-
downhill.
and they got two streets to look at, and you pull up that stop sign, you get a kiss and a promise, and they're gone. And if that speed bump wasn't there, and if there's people parked on my side of the street, I can't see if there's cars coming or not.
It has got busier once
Yes.
the,
Carl lived in my neighborhood for years,
and we used to hang around the alleys together. We'll tell you stories.
played kick the can.
A lot of times. After curfew. I'll tell the chief that. I don't know how he can still
But, I can get some other residents in here, I'm sure they would agree with, if what Carl says here could be possible, with a wider speed bump, but a little lower.
Yeah, today's fact-finding, I will tell you that generally speaking, when you have a hidden drive or hidden road, you use signage, not speed bumps, in order to alert people to do that. So there's other methods to create the awareness that you've described, and certainly feeling a jolt on your car is going to be immediate versus looking at a sign, but we're just fact-finding today.
What about the pedestrians walking in the middle of the road? What are you going to do for them?
Well, they should use sidewalk. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
We got sidewalks marked off in the middle of Main Street with no crossing lights, but, they walk right up the middle of the street.
Yeah, I mean, anybody listening, if you're a pedestrian, be safe out there, please use the sidewalks.
Yeah, but I'm ultimately opposed against removing the one by my house.
Understand. Yep, I appreciate you being here today. Like I said, we're not making a decision today that I can tell, but we do want to hear if there's any other opinions.
I can, if it comes up again, I can, and if I have a week's notice, I'll have several residents here.
Our next meeting will be Monday, April 21st, here. Are you, before we go, are you finished, sir?
Yes,
Mr. Bursch?
I believe so, if I can get a copy of that.
Yes. We'll make sure you get a copy before you leave.
Yeah, I'm Jan Vatris at 701 East 2nd Street, and I live on the corner of Baltimore and 2nd, and I am a frequent walker down that hill. And I think the main problem with why we need a speed bump there is because that hill is so steep. And now with the Fairfield Inn and all the events going on at the Picker House, cars are parked on both sides. There's a sidewalk only on one side. And so there is a lot more pedestrian traffic, and there is also a lot more people using First Street, and it is a very steep hill. So please keep the speed bump there that he's talking about. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Could you spell, wait, she's running away. I need her last name. How do you spell her last name? Jan.
It's VEHTRUS? Oh.
H-U-S. Thank you.
Hello, Patrick Tevenall, 106 East 3rd. As far as the fact-finding goes on this same request was brought to the council's traffic committee at our last meeting. Councilwoman DeTillo, Councilman Bartlett, and I discussed it, and our consensus on it was that there was no real need at this time to remove those speed bumps. Thank you.
Patrick, you say either one?
We just discussed
Oh, you
it
just-
generally. Yeah, we didn't discuss specifically one
Because one
or
on top of
the
the hill
other.
actually has to stop and a stop, and then.
Yeah, if the one further up the hill, if it doesn't really do anything, then there's no reason to have it, but.
Okay.
There are 3 stop signs, Patrick. Aren't there 3 stop signs between Harrison and St. Michael's?
Yes.
And, I mean, the distance between, is that Baltimore and
Yeah,
St.
Baltimore-
Michael's is the block that you live in between, sir?
Whole block.
Yeah, it's, that is a difficult block. One, because of the sidewalks only being on one side, it's going downhill, and it seems like the traffic going down through there, for whatever reason, still, when I've been walking down there, still does go fairly fast, and with everything, like Jan said, going on at the cotton mill now, and their parking lot being small, they kind of crowd the street around there.
It's a very steep grade.
Yeah, and then also the access, everybody, if you're walking from the cotton mill up to the new park by the bridge walk and all of that, that's kind of your common sense route to loop around
Oh,
that
to walk
way.
across the bridge. A lot more people use.
Yeah, rather than going all the way up the ramp from the bottom, you just come
Go
around
down
the back
Fillmore Alley
and,
across the bridge.
and so maybe down the road, I think it's the south side of the street that doesn't have the sidewalks, might be something for us to consider.
Yeah, in that
I
block.
agree.
In that block. Okay, thank you.
Thanks.
Any other remarks with regard to the removal of speed bumps on East First Street?
I thank you for your time.
Mr. Bursch, thank you for being here.
I travel that road pretty frequent when I come across the bridge and to get to the riverfront. And if I remember right, here a year or so ago, this issue was brought before us about removing those speed bumps. And I mean, personally, the one on top, it's between 2 stop signs, a block. I really don't know why it's even there. So personally, I'm in favor of going ahead and removing it. And I understand the one down on your block, I don't have a problem with keeping it there. I do see a lot of pedestrian traffic when I drive through there, and a lot of golf cart traffic. So I don't really have a problem with it, but the one on top of the hill, I really, personally, I think it probably needs to come out, so that's my feelings on it, so.
Anyone else? All right, well, Mr. Birch, the next meeting will be April 21st, so like I said, we're not making any decisions today, and people are welcome to contact their city council person between now and then, or come to the April 21st Board of Public Works meeting.
I stay in contact with Pat. He's the one that let me know this was on the agenda today. Like I said, if I'd have known sooner,
Yeah.
I could have had more residents that are affected by these speed bumps other than these. And I understand the gentleman with the hover round. I totally sympathize with him, and but they all sympathize with me trying to get out of my driveway too, sir.
Understood.
And then people getting out of that alley. You know, there's cars parked on the north side of First Street. When you pull up to that alley, there's trees there, it's tree lined, and if there's a car parked there, you don't know if the car's gonna stop or if he's just gonna give it a promise.
Yes.
That's the big thing, because you don't get people stopping full there. You
Right.
just hit and go. And that's why I need it.
We'll give it a thorough evaluation and discuss it at the April 21st meeting.
25th?
21st.
21st?
April 21st.
Thank you, gentlemen.
2 weeks, so,
Thank you, Charlie.
Thank you.
thank you.
Good seeing you.
We do have Resolution 2025-11B, Molly Datillo Run Walk looks like we have Mr. Kelly, so I move we take that off the table, and do we have a second for that?
I'll second your
All in
motion.
favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Mr. Kelly, welcome. Welcome back.
Thank you. Everything's a go. I apologize for not being here last time, but, it's the 20th year, and just over 1,000 people are running, so that's
Well, I
all
think this is
ages.
a great event, certainly recognizes the memory of Molly and is supporting the community as well as promoting health and wellness. I mean, it's a trifecta of events, and it's one of the early ones in the year, so it kicks off our festival season, but also healthy-wise. So
Yeah.
thank you for continuing. You've been involved in this for a very long time.
2005.
One a year.
Were you involved when it was
No,
at
2006.
the state, or at the state hospital? It was
Yeah.
kind of the predecessor to this.
Yeah, that's right.
Is this the same footprint as previous years, the
Yes,
same layout?
yes. I have, if you want to see it, I can give it to you.
We've seen that in footprint before, and
Okay.
thank you for filing the event safety plan. As we're describing with each event organizer, we're going to ask you to take every necessary precaution for safety at the event, particularly in a footprint like a 5K where there's a lot of different intersections of roads and vehicles. I think you've indicated you will have people manning each intersection for the safety of the runners. Is that correct?
Yes, sir, Mark Cheatham.
Yeah.
He's the man.
Yes, he'll coordinate all of that. So that's something to certainly take as many precautions as possible, and we'll do the same thing.
Got it.
Thank you. Any way we could issue a challenge to do these two guys to do the 5K this year?
Well, yeah, just a sec.
Oh,
I want a free T-shirt.
well, we have a rule. You can't wear the T-shirt till after you race the event.
Can I
Oh,
walk it before?
Oh, well, we got some entry forms here.
There we go.
So here you are.
All right, the challenge has been officially issued by Mr. Kelly. Thank you.
You better be there.
I may be out of town this week.
Oh, now the excuses come.
Maybe. Thank you.
Mr. Kelly, thank you very much. We'll have a vote
Thanks,
to
Bob.
approve resolution. I move that we approve resolution 2025-11B.
I'll second your motion.
Any discussion, comments, or questions? Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Kelly.
Thank you.
Moving on to Mayor's comments, not a whole lot, other than as Mr. Kelly is representing, as we've seen time and time with our prior meetings, we're really gearing up for the festival season. We're rolling right into spring. Nothing's going to hold us back to another successful event season. Especially weather. So I want to thank everybody who has been out there responding to our last 5 days of severe weather. We got through tornadoes, windstorms, rain, flash flooding, thunderstorms, the flooding that we're still enduring on our Ohio riverfront, and now the freezing temperatures that are going to approach us. So, we're moving, slowly toward a river crest by early Wednesday morning. Continue to ask everybody to take necessary precautions there, be safe, don't drive around barricades. We've got a lot of curiosity seekers, some people staying in their properties that I've seen on Facebook. It's dangerous. Please don't put first responders in harm's way. And then we'll move into, the disaster assessment and recovery modes here very quickly. So please continue to take precautions, but very grateful for everybody who has worked on the last 5 days. The county and city collaboration's been phenomenal, and we'll continue to get through the assessments part of it and then clean up after that. So nothing's holding us back. Madison, you're safe because of our great men and women who are part of that emergency response, and all of the volunteerism, neighbors helping neighbors, was also fantastic to witness. I'll pause there. Board, do you have anything to add?
Good job to the city crews. Like I said, it's once in a lifetime, we hope, event. And anyway, good job.
Our next meeting will be April 21st. Any public comments for the Board of Public Works and Safety? Chief, any reports from you?
Mayor, I guess I want to get on my soapbox a little bit.
Okay.
I was on the riverfront Friday afternoon, and the barricades were up, blocking off vehicular traffic on Vaughn Drive. And I was just astounded at the number of people that disregarded the barricades, drove through them. I actually saw people get out, move the barricade, drive through, and I mean, the barricade was there for a purpose, to keep people from driving on Vaughn Drive in dangerous conditions. But yet, people disrespect the situation, that they feel like that, well, that barricade don't mean anything to me, it's for other people. No, it's for everyone. And just to witness people get out of their car and move barricades and then drive past them, it just astounds me. And in this situation, it wasn't the only time. I mean, we witnessed the same thing when we were working on Main Street here a few years ago. I mean, barricades are there for a purpose.
Yeah, I would echo Board Member Carlo's remarks, because we did issue a local disaster emergency on Friday, and that was so that we could really mobilize our preparations. Closing roads is one of those, so that we could get to the areas that were affected with our crews, and also for those property owners that had to move substantial amounts of property in a short period of time. It's allowed them a window of opportunity to do so. We had started evacuating our campground on Wednesday. Thankfully, that went very smoothly because we didn't have very many guests there yet. But it does happen very frequently, not just in this emergency, but everywhere. When those barricades are up, our crews are intentionally doing something behind those barricades, and it's also intended to keep everybody safe, crews as well as citizens of our community. So please heed all warnings, and just because you can see one portion of the road doesn't mean the next portion is going to be safe to travel. But good and valid point and reminder to the community everywhere, not just in those affected areas. Anything else, Board? Clerk Treasurer?
Motion to adjourn?
I'll second that. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Thanks, everybody. See you on April 21st. We'll see you at council meeting tomorrow night.